Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Trish Tio TV channel. So just when you thought the dust has settled, something keeps coming up all the time about this KRG paternity story. So if you don't know, on Monday, Susan gave another interview, and on that interview, she produced some Instagram messages she sent to KRG in 2022 to prove that she's been trying to get hold of KRG for some time before she made that appearance on Nicholas' channel like 2 weeks ago, or is it 3 weeks ago? So come the next day, a guy called Dufla appeared on Kyoko's channel for an interview on the same subject. If you don't know who Dufla is, he's KRG's friend. They do some show on their YouTube channel. So this guy happens to hang around KRG a lot. So this guy was claiming KRG has a lot of mature stories. So he was kind of leaning towards Susan's claim that KRG could be older than what he claims to be. Because he said he talks about some stories which he's not aware about because he's only 29, like Nyayo's milk. So if you don't know what Nyayo's milk is, it's the free milk that primary school kids used to get since Moi was the president until I think 2000. But you see, because KRG was in primary school in 2000, that is, if you believe his story, it's I mean, if he was in primary in 2000, then there's no surprise that he knew of Nyayo's milk. So come Wednesday, KRG had another sit down with Kyoko. So Kyoko started by asking him about owning a garage in 2002, yet he was an 11-year-old boy. So he cleared that by stating the garage belonged to his father. And because he's his father's heir, he has a right to claim the garage belonged to him. So that was a valid point from KRG. So the next thing was producing his father's ID. Though he didn't show the ID to the viewers, he showed the soft copy on his phone to Kyoko, who confirmed his father was born in 1969, which makes him a 54-year-old man. So the next thing was KRG stating which documents he had with him. So he said he had his birth certificate, he had his siblings' birth certificates. He also produced his dedication certificate. You know, the certificate which you get issued with after getting baptized. So that we actually got to see that dedication certificate, which indicates he was born in 1991. So if it's a genuine document, it means he was a boy in 2002 when Yvonne was conceived. And on that particular day, he posted a photo of him as an 11-year-old boy. So from that photo, he looks like a young boy. The only thing is you can't tell if the photo was actually taken in the year 2002. But if it was, he was a young boy. So there's no way he would have sired Yvonne that year. So the next thing, he showed Kyoko his birth certificate and Kyoko confirmed the birth certificate read he was born in 1991. So after that, KRG asked Susan to also produce documents because it seems like she's reluctant to do so. So she asked her to produce Yvonne's birth certificate so we can see what the further details read. And he also demanded that she produces her national ID so we can know how old she is, which is valid because she wants proof from KRG, so it's only fair that she also produces documents to prove what she's saying. So the next thing, KRG said he was going to call some people who went to school with him in primary school to confirm his story. So the first person they called was some vet guy who confirmed the very first trip they made to Nairobi was in 2003 when they were in class 7. And by that time, because Yvonne was born in 2003, maybe by that time she had been born or she was about to be born. So if that was the first trip KRG made to Nairobi, it rules him out from being Yvonne's father. So the next person they called was a guy called Eric, supposed to be an IT professional. So Eric too confirmed that he was KRG's classmate in class 6 in 2002. But this guy is very cheeky because he told KRG to drag the story on as long as possible and milk it dry. And then only after he's milked it dry, go for the DNA test. Because according to him, bad publicity, there's nothing like bad publicity. So I beg to differ with him because this story that KRG could be a deadbeat dad does not do him any good. In fact, I think it tarnishes his reputation given that he's a public person. So the next person they called is a guy called Lawrence, but Lawrence was not available to pick the call because he's based in Qatar, so maybe the time difference or whatever he was up to meant that he couldn't pick the phone. The next person they considered calling was one of KRG's ex-girlfriends, but then they decided against doing that because she happens to be somebody's wife, and I think that was wise of him. Yeah, because I don't think her husband would really appreciate an ex-boyfriend calling his wife. The next person they called was a lady called Winnie, was also a classmate, but Winnie couldn't pick the call. Next, they called a guy called Anthony, who also confirmed in 2002, they were in primary school in class 6 to be specific. But this Anthony claims Yvonne kind of resembles KRG. I don't know whether he actually finds them to resemble each other, whether he was just being cheeky. So then Kyoko inquired if this whole issue could be a clout-chasing mission between KRG and Susan, but then KRG dismissed that claim because, according to him, he had never met Susan until Kyoko introduced them last week when they did that interview. The next person they called was KRG's mother, who confirmed she gave birth to KRG on 10th of January, 1991. So obviously that coincides with everything that KRG has been saying all along. So now KRG said maybe his enemies have put Susan on a mission to destroy his reputation. That's why she's so persistent about this thing. And then Kyoko asked KRG if he's still going to pay the college fee for Yvonne. And it seemed like he's changed his stance a bit, because you remember on the first interview when he met Yvonne, he said he was going to help with the funding of a college. It seemed in that interview that he was willing to do it from his pocket. But when he was asked about paying the college fee on yesterday's interview, he kind of sounded like he's changed his stance. He said he's going to facilitate well-wishers to pay for that college fee. Yeah, he said it's because it's not his obligation to educate Yvonne like he does his biological kids. He's going to facilitate the process so that it's a collective effort. So I think he was kind of trying to distance himself a bit from Yvonne, because if he volunteered to pay the fees from his pocket, some people would think that was a kind of an admission that he's Yvonne's father. So I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to sort of distance himself. And then about resembling Yvonne, he said it's not unusual for human beings to resemble others who they are not related to biologically, like the way people claim he sort of resembles Gavin, that is Ambare's son. So they went on, and Kyoko decided to call Susan. But this time KRG was quiet, so I don't think Susan knew that Kyoko was sitting next to KRG. So Kyoko told Susan that KRG had produced birth certificates to prove his age. His mother confirmed he was born in 1991, and what she had to say about the new development, but she's still doubling down that KRG is Yvonne's father. She dismissed KRG's mother's claims, claiming that obviously a mother would defend their child to make them look good. So that's why she was co-signing KRG's lies, according to her. And then she also offered to take Kyoko to Nduberi, where she supposedly met KRG in 2002. So after she finished talking to Kyoko, he asked KRG why he's not suing Susan for defamation if he strongly believes that he's not Yvonne's father. But KRG said that would be the next course of action if Susan continues insisting that he is Yvonne's father, because he thought after producing the certificates, it would put the matter to rest. So he said he still has like over 100 witnesses who can corroborate his stories. And she said, he said he can also call another person who can confirm his date of birth. That is one of his, I think the mother of two of his sons. This must be the ex-wife who he divorced after 10 years of marriage. So they called her and she confirmed that she knows KRG's age. KRG's date of birth was 10th of January 1991. So afterwards, though I think KRG thought the issue will now die down now that he's produced documents. But then come today, Susan stuck to her word. She actually went to Nduberi, where KRG supposedly used to reside at in 2002. So they went to that plot, and because she was so willing to take them there, I thought maybe they would interview credible people who knew the person that is KRG that rented a room. But they didn't really interview any credible witnesses because they interviewed a man who was not even at the premises. They met the man at some shopping center. And the funny thing is, this man didn't want to reveal his face. I don't know whether it's because he's a private person, whether he's a shy person, or whether he's just a funny character, because if he really wanted us to believe what he was saying, I thought he would be willing to show his face. But anyway, maybe he's camera shy. So this guy claims he owns the property that KRG rented from him. But I wasn't very convinced with what that guy was saying. So that trip obviously didn't convince me otherwise. So Yvonne herself, Yvonne's mother, that is Susan herself, said she doesn't want to give any more interviews unless the interview will be about revealing the DNA results. And I kind of also agree with her on that, though I don't believe her story. I think they should just get on with that DNA test, because a DNA test is the most definitive way of revealing who is related to who and put this matter to rest once and for all. So I don't know what you guys think. Just tell me what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to link all the related videos at the bottom of this page, so that in case you don't know how this story started and how it's been developing, you can come up to speed and get to know what I'm talking about. So I'll end it there. As usual, like this video, share it with as many people as possible. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so to help my channel grow. I'll see you on the next video, and bye for now.